So I hope you're joining me from part one as I was touching on the impact that our farming and the way we eat is affecting either humans or the planet, right? So let me jump right back in with humans. The additives and the sweeteners that we're adding to preserve food as it gets sent across the country. You gotta think about when you're eating that, what that could do to your body if it's a preservative. The antibiotics, like I mentioned, that are being pumped into cows, pigs, and chickens to increase their meat production. Um, I could go into a lot of stories that I'm sure you've heard, and none of it is good. And I'm sure everyone's seen the films. But additionally, with the workers, I read a book by Peter Singer. It was amazing. It touched on all the workers that had to deal with it, and then what they had to do when they got home from seeing and experiencing all the negatives to working in a factory farm. And on top of that, the equity of it. A lot of times you're going to see these factory farms or a lot of the pollutants that come from food and the fertilizer and chemicals being run off into the water of poorer neighborhoods. You'll see a lot of these plants are in poorer areas, and the ones that are being impacted are the ones that really don't have much say to it. And the people that are benefiting from the food, all right, obviously is going to be people that can afford it and have access to it. Now, a really interesting dynamic is the fact that there is the highest obesity there ever has been in percentage wise, and the amount of hunger has not decreased, right? So it's actually stayed relatively stable with the population. So hunger is the same, obesity is increasing. You got to ask yourself, well, how if we have enough food for people to gain a lot of weight, maybe there's a way where we can balance it a little bit more. I don't have the answers, obviously, but I'm sure there are. If we look at the planet health, and I'll talk about this in just a moment, soil, climate, water, and habitat. I mean, I could go into a half an hour lecture on all three of them and how the impact of how we eat and how we farm is affecting the climate, the planet. So let me just jump right into the planet health. There's some interesting facts that I want to kind of bring to your attention. Specifically, let's start with water. So about 70% of water use worldwide goes to the production of food. So whether that is for the animals, whether that is for the crops, whether that is for the production of the meat, production of the packaging for the plants, 70% of it, which is a huge amount. And I'll talk about it in a second, is what a lot of that water does go to. Um, I felt an important statistic was with the soil. So when I talked about in part one how the soil is being depleted through monoculture farming, it's important to know that the top inch of topsoil, the first top inch, it takes about 200 to 100,000 years. And if you were to take a fresh topsoil that has not been compacted, not been eroded, um, you're going to find millions and millions and millions of life just in one scoop of dirt. And when you continually just deplete the top layer of our Earth, you lose so much life, which is a huge loss in biodiversity and a loss in nutrient. Um, when touching on fertilizer, I found this fascinating that uh, out of all the fertilizer that is sprayed onto food, only 10% of it actually gets on the crops and goes into it, right? So that's only what is implied nutrients, only 10% of it. And most of it's run off into water, which causes a huge issue of growth of algae that just completely strangle lakes and ponds and such. So that is an important piece. The habitat, I mean, clearly what's happening right now is that 75% of all agricultural land goes to just grazing and growing animal feed for animals. So when we go look at these factory farms that are producing cows and pigs and chickens, a lot of their food is just coming from the agricultural land. So the majority isn't even going to us to eat indirectly. So let me continue moving. I got more planet talk. I know this is going on for a while. I could really, trust me, stand on my soapbox all day. But once again, my having this lack of subscription, my 5 minutes is running up. So there will be a part three if you don't mind, and check that one out if you're still with me. I hope to see you then. Okay, thank you.